Hello everyone and welcome to another Your Next Stamp video. I have the Your Next Stamp Simply Circles background and a piece of Hero Arts watercolor paper that isn't fitting in my Mini Misty, so I have to cut it down. So I'm cutting it down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This is like a more manageable size for me. I'm taking the solid images from this set, and there are also outline images that are slightly irregular circles, which is really neat. And some distress ink, regular distress ink. This is the Abandoned Coral variety, and look at that guy with a McDonald's box on his head. He may not look like me at all, but he has my fun-loving personality. So I'm taking, this is a tile that I use as a palette, and a little bit of extra distress ink, and I'm filling in the circle with a paintbrush and a cup of water that you can't see, and I'm just filling it in to do like a watercolor look with these circles. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I don't do a lot of watercoloring, but I want to change that for 2019. It's a crafty New Year's resolution of mine. I'm taking another solid circle from the set, and this time I'm stamping it in Ripe Persimmon. So I don't even think I've used this ink pad since changing over to the ink cubes. But hey, I'm glad I'm taking the opportunity to use the supplies that I have in my craft room. So this is all I'm doing is stamping in the distress ink and then filling it in with more distress ink. I'm really just taking this opportunity to play with it. I think it's fun. So I'm using Twisted Citron here. I think I also grab Salty Ocean, Squeezed Lemonade, and Wilted Violet to do like a rainbow kind of look up the side of my card front. I'm trying to leave a little bit of variation in the color, so I'm going a little bit heavier on the color on one side of the bubble than the other, but there is no rhyme or reason to what side, or there's no shading here. I'm just playing. So I did take Salty Ocean and Wilted Violet to make this darker indigo because I don't have any other purple distress ink. Now, I wanted to do some heat embossing, so I needed to give this some time to dry, and I'm also prepping it extremely well with my EK Success powder tool. I'm taking the Hero Arts silver embossing powder and some Nuvo clear mark embossing ink and embossing those irregular circles scattered throughout my little circle pattern here. I thought that I had given it plenty of time to dry. I was wrong because that yellow circle and the green one was giving me issues. So I took a paintbrush to the best of my ability to try to clean it up, but ultimately I ended up just scraping off all of that mess and embossing the top one and the bottom one and just starting over with those irregular circles in the center, giving my panel a little bit more time to dry. I even hit this thing with a heat tool trying to get it to be dry for sure before I went and hit it with the embossing powder. But I guess you can never be too certain, so maybe you should test it like beforehand. But ultimately, I did get the look that I was going for. It's a little bit messy if you look closely at the finished photos, but it did not bother me, so I just went with it. You can also use a very small spoon and try to intricately just put powder where you need it to go. But it turned out, so it's okay. So I'm taking the Thinking of You sentiment. It's a really pretty font from the Whatnot Sentiments 11, also by Your Next Stamp, and the VersaFine Onyx Black ink that I love to use for sentiments, and making a nice black sentiment in the middle of my card. I'm taking the Your Next Stamp stitched rectangle die, second from largest, to cut out my panel. Who would have guessed that this would happen? I'm running it through the Spellbinders Platinum die cutting machine, which I love dearly. And I'm also going to grab a Simon Says Stamp Fog card base, a piece of black craft foam mounted with scrapbook.com double-sided adhesive. This is all extremely boring for the people that watch me all the time. And that's it. I started looking at my card and wondering what else I could add to it to kind of jazz it up a little bit more. So I ultimately grabbed Your Next Stamp Gumdrops in this gray that really matches the fog cardstock, and I like that. I like how that turned out. That is the Summer Chill Gumdrops. I hope you all enjoyed the video today. Find me, find Your Next Stamp on social media. I love interacting with all of you. That is the best part of having a blog, is talking to all the crafters. And until next time.